Democratic Alliance in Gauteng says the province's education department has yielded to pressure to re-evaluate the scholar transport policy. The party says the current policy has proven inadequate to serve learners, leading to numerous fatal vehicle accidents. DA Gauteng education spokesperson Sergio Isa Dos Santos joins us now for more. Sergio, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. You're not part of the provincial government of unity, but you seem to have made headway in persuading the GDE. How did you do so?
Thank you very much for having me. So the last several months, we've been putting a bit more pressure on the Department of Education, calling on the Department of Education and MEC Chilwane to relook at the current policy, because there has been a number of accidents this year alone. There's been several. Unfortunately, we had a major catastrophe last week with 12 dead. So it's unfortunate that we've had to go through several accidents and fatalities for the MEC and the department to finally agree to relook at the policy. Now, over a period of time in the Education Committee, we have raised the concerns with regards to scholar transport, the budget, if it's sufficient, with regards to how many schools are currently with the scholar transport, how many actually still require. So we've been driving the scholar transport issue for a little while now. But in this year in particular, we've obviously been driving the safety aspect and re-looking at the scholar transport policy because of the number of accidents. So yes, we welcome the pronouncement that the policy will be reviewed. We're hoping to monitor that closely and see how quickly that will come about and what are the changes that will be made. So yes, we'll keep on putting pressure on the department and the MEC to ensure that the safety of our learners are always in the forefront of what we do.
What needs to be overhauled? You have the type of vehicle that needs to be used. You've got parents who make their own preferences of service providers. You've got the distances that need to be traveled. You've got the competencies of the drivers that need to be looked at, and all that needing to be enforced. What is your proposal?
Look, it has to be relooked at completely. The policy itself, there's obviously a national paper as well with regards to scholar transport, so then there's the provincial one as well. So it needs to be relooked at. So it's a multifaceted issue. So if you're looking at learners, say, from Hammanskraal, many of them travel large distances to get to their school because there is no school close enough to them. Now, the policy is roughly, it's meant to be about 15 kilometers either way, so a learner is supposed to travel 30 kilometers maximum, but reality is that many learners actually travel a lot further than that. So that also is an aspect. When there is sufficient schools within the province that services communities better, the necessity for scholar transport also phases away because it's closer to school. So there's also that aspect in terms of the safety, not needing to travel long distances. Also, with the review of the overcrowding, we see every morning and every afternoon where a lot of these school transports have more than capacity of the number of learners that are meant to be, or the number of passengers that are meant to be in the vehicle. The lack of enforcement with regards to that is also quite concerning. But then, of course, the regular maintenance and the safety of the vehicle that the learners are traveling in. So it's a multifaceted approach that it needs to be taken. All stakeholders and law enforcement agencies need to be involved. So that comes down to the Metro Police from the various municipalities, the Department of Transport, the community safety, public safety, and so on. So the monitoring of the vehicles and the abilities of the drivers to be sufficiently trained in driving, and then a large number of passengers. And there has to be some sort of investigation or feasibility study into using technology now to monitor services. There's, I believe, medical aids where there's an app that basically tracks the way you're driving. So looking at GPS systems that can track and monitor the the way that a person drives is something that should also be looked at. And obviously there's cost and budget implications, but it's something that in the fourth industrial revolution where everything is largely becoming digitized, there are systems that are available to properly monitor the drivers. And obviously drivers that aren't driving correctly or speeding, having regular stops, then that needs to be investigated and measures put in place to correct that.
So those saying that parents would certainly need to have a lot of buy-in into whatever proposals you're putting forward, because one, as you mentioned, the cost factor plays a key role in parents making this particular decisions. There are parents who have said, look, I would pay nominal leg as long as I know that that particular vehicle is meeting the standards. There are some who are saying, well, look, this is what I can afford right now. How do you strike a balance?
So look, there's a lot of parents that use private scholar transport. So that obviously needs to be registered with the department, and that also needs to comply with the policy and enforcement thereof. Those that can't afford the private scholar transport will then go to the number of schools that do offer it, and there's just over 600, if I'm not mistaken, 630 schools that are currently using scholar transport. So those parents will obviously use the government scholar transport vehicles that are available. And those in specifically, the ones that are contracted through to the department, needs to be roadworthy, needs to be secure. The parents and the school needs to know that these are the drivers, these are the times where the pickup points, where the drop-off points, and even at looking at the policy and talking about the pickup points, there's supposed to be one pickup and one drop-off point for a learner. But the reality is that there's several across the trip, because it's making different trips and pickups and drop-offs. So there has to be some sort of balance between the private scholar transport and obviously the ones directed by the department, is that safety throughout needs to be ensured. And with the review of the policy, we're hoping that will secure our learners' safety going forward.
In terms of the timelines, do you see the politics of the province getting in the way?
I think the department and the MEC has acknowledged that it needs to be reviewed. I think this last accident has shown that anything can happen. Obviously, we don't know the facts of the accident, only what has been reported through the media, and it's not necessarily indications of from the media is that it wasn't the driver of the scholar transport's fault. It seems like the vehicle was hit from behind, but it was already at capacity. There's various stories with regards to that, but there's been a number of accidents this year alone, and some fatalities, some injured, and it needs to be looked at. But we're also driving through as the Democratic Alliance in Gauteng, is the school safety in general, in and out. This year alone, we've had various drownings. We've had a teacher shot in a school by a learner. We've had suicides. So yes, we have to push the scholar transport aspect safety, but this speaks to the safety of the schools as well. And obviously we also engage with regards to the failing infrastructure. We still have asbestos infrastructure in some of the schools across the province. So it speaks much broader to the safety aspects within schools that we require in Gauteng to be improved urgently.
Sergio, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on.